that picture look dusty.
Lying past torn pieces of my fears, or the fauna in its majesty. Watch and weep as I cease to be. Darkness always comes when you want it least.
It was just a roast. It was just a fucking...
Let you on the feast. Life don't run.
Michael Che has now turned Kevin Hart's Netflix roast into a conversation about who gets to write black jokes, who gets to deliver them, and why certain lines fell off to a lot of people watching at home. The roast was hosted by Shane Gillis and featured a long list of comedians and celebrities taking shots at Kevin Hart, including Pete Davidson, Chelsea Handler, Tony Hinchcliffe, Cheryl Underwood, Regina Hall, Draymond Green, Cat Williams, and others. But after the special aired, the conversation moved away from Kevin himself and toward the racial tone of the writing room. Che, who was originally expected to appear but reportedly dropped out because of Saturday Night Live scheduling conflicts, posted on Instagram after the roast and mocked the idea of celebrating one of the most successful black comedians of the last decade with a mostly white group of writers shaping the material. Che's first point was simple. The optics looked crazy. In one slide, he set up the idea of a roast for Kevin Hart, then showed a photo of 5 white writers connected to the event: Nick Mullen, JP McDade, Mike Lawrence, Dan St. Germain, and Zach Amico. His final slide ended with the line, "Come on, that's not funny." Entertainment Weekly reported that the full roast had 17 credited writers, including black writers Harry Ratchford, Chris Spencer, and Joey Wells. So it wasn't literally an all-white writing room. But the photo Che highlighted became the symbol of the backlash, especially because Mike Lawrence said that group mainly wrote jokes for Shane Gillis and Pete Davidson. EW also reported that Amico and St. Germain said they were brought on by Gillis, while McDade reposted the photo without Che's caption and wrote, "Don't swipe." That detail matters because this story is being simplified online as Michael Che attacks Shane Gillis. Che didn't need to write Shane's name in giant letters for people to understand the implication. Gillis hosted the roast. The group Che highlighted was connected to Gillis and Pete's material, and some of the most debated jokes of the night came from white comics talking about black trauma.
Kevin Hart is so tiny. How tiny was he? He's so tiny that if he were around during the slavery days, they wouldn't use a whip to tear through his black back. They'd use dental floss. That's comedy. That's going to be a minty back. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. I swear to God, I'm not faking. I'm not faking this laugh. That shit was funny. You know, it's great that we're all here together to celebrate freedom of speech. I actually had a dream that this happened. I woke up so excited I took a shot. Guess you could call me Martin Luther King.
Daily Beast reported that Che's post came after jokes from Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe drew criticism, including Gillis making a slavery-related joke about Kevin Hart's height and Tony making a George Floyd joke. Che's sharper point was about how black and white roast humor can feel different. Page 6 reported that Che contrasted black roasts with white roasts by saying, black roasts are often about things like someone's shoes, while white roasts reach for slavery, slain teens, sex crimes, slurs, and family secrets. That is why the Tony Hinchcliffe George Floyd joke became part of the same conversation. Tony reportedly joked that George Floyd was looking up, laughing so hard he couldn't breathe, and TMZ later reported that George Floyd's family and representatives were angry about the joke and criticized Kevin Hart for giving Tony that platform. Once that backlash hit, Che's complaint about the writing room gained more weight because the debate stopped being abstract. People could point to an actual joke and ask why George Floyd's death was being used at Kevin Hart's roast in the first place. Desus Nice also backed the broader criticism. The Jasmine brand reported that Desus called out the roast for having a lot of black jokes without enough black writers.
Nobody watched that, right?
You could just watch the clips online, then you gotta wait till the end to see who the writers were, and then you go back and watch it. And you was like, wow, not a lot of black writers, but a lot of black jokes. Some of those weren't even jokes, they were just straight up racist. But hey, ha 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 ha, Netflix, ha ha.
Other reactions around the roast moved in the same direction. The Jasmine brand also highlighted reactions from Lonnie Love and Melissa Fredericks, Kev Stage's wife, after controversial race jokes from the special.
I'm not gonna lie, the Kevin Hart roast, the funniest thing in there, which we can all probably agree, was damn Regina Hall's face. That shit was hilarious. It looked as though nobody gave her no rundown on what exactly is about to go down, or to the extent it's about to get, because she was looking around like, how come we ain't throwing hands yet? That shit was hilarious. Even the cameraman started to like try to crop her out, like keep her out of the view. By the end, if you watch it back, they tried to keep her out the cameras because at first they gave her some close-ups, and then they saw her face. They're like, ooh, so they took her off. They took her off like the main thing. You know what I'm saying? And then the comedian's not even trying to play with her. Like the comedian's like, I'll pass. That was funny as hell because apparently in that little group or in Hollywood, it is quite evident, it's quite clear that Regina Hall's not one to play with.
Some people defended the roast by saying the entire format is supposed to be offensive. That argument is fair up to a point. Roasts are not built for safe corporate humor. The problem is that it's a roast does not automatically make every joke smart, earned, or culturally aware. The uncomfortable part for Netflix is that this roast was meant to celebrate Kevin Hart's career. Kevin is one of the biggest black comedians alive, and the night should have been a major victory lap. Instead, the after story became about whether too many white writers and white comics were using the night to make jokes about black suffering, black history, and black death.
Regina Hall was me most of that roast, okay? A lot of the things that were being told, I did not laugh at. Why are we making jokes about someone's husband taking their life? Or jokes about George Floyd lynching? I already know y'all gonna call me sensitive. Okay, cool, I get it. But some things should be off limits. Anytime a palm-colored person walked up to the podium, I knew I had to clutch my pearls. I knew I was getting ready to hear something very distasteful. Oddly enough, not too odd, anytime a black person came up to the podium, I knew I could finally breathe. I knew jokes were finally about to be told. There's honestly so much to unpack from this roast that I don't know if we should even unpack it. I think it's better off packed and tucked. I was like, Netflix, y'all clear this? Y'all clear this? And who picked the host? Was Drewski not available? Like, I get Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence might just be out of the tax bracket, but like, y'all couldn't get Drewski?
And that is where Che's criticism lands hardest. He wasn't asking for a polite roast. He wasn't saying Kevin Hart needed soft treatment. He was asking why a roast built around a black comedy superstar had such a strange relationship with black subject matter. There's a big difference between making fun of Kevin Hart and making George Floyd, slavery, lynching, or black trauma part of the punchline pile. That difference is what people are arguing about now. Shane Gillis probably didn't expect to become the face of this part of the backlash. He was hosting the roast, he brought in writers he trusted, and in roast comedy, everyone is supposed to be dangerous. But the moment Che posted that writer photo, the story changed. Suddenly, the issue wasn't only whether the jokes were offensive, The issue became who wrote them, who delivered them, and why Netflix thought that setup made sense for Kevin Hart.